page and in other, social media places. Well, what's it get us? Well, what's it get us?
Right.
And, I started my career at 1995. I'm 45 years old now. And the whole time, I thought I was a first responder. I was treated like a first responder when it came to the responsibilities of my job. If you miss this call up, someone's going to die, But then when it came time for like different benefits and different, things, like you're talking about with where do we sit on the priority list as vaccinations go? Oh, you're a secretary. Well,
Yeah.
and it's like, wait a minute, these two things aren't connecting. And just the personal. So I think the first thing about reclassification is, like you say, fix that mud of where we actually fit. And when things like the child care for first responders, the vaccines, when things like this come up, there's no mud. It's clear as cut. Yeah, guess what? The dispatcher answers the phone, sending the officer, sending the fire truck, sending the ambulance. They need to be there, so they're first responders too. And just that level of recognition, acknowledgement, and respect, because I have literally stopped someone from choking before a patrolman even pulled up out front. But am I essential or am I a non-essential employee?
Right. Right.
So,
And I think for me, something that I've said before is, EMTs and firemen and police officers, they don't have to prove why they're first responders. People just accept that as truth. And we've been doing this work all this time, and we have to fight for somebody to believe that we're doing life-saving work. And that's, I think, why this designation is really important. It's the most important first step because it finally gets us on the books as equals and gives us a seat at the table. I think our leadership in Kansas has, agreed that this is just the foundation of our house and we're going to keep building the floors. So
yeah, I completely
sorry, go ahead.
agree.
Rebecca, would you like to add? No.
I agree with what Roxy was just explaining. In fact, we were just talking about this last night in my center, about at what level do you consider us? And we were talking about all of the changes with, text to 911 and at some point video, that people are going to be able to video us. And, so then if you don't think of us as responding now by, being that person that's answering the phone call, then how are you going to define us when we are taking that video call from that emergency scene and see it at its absolute worst before things semi get under control as our responders get there and, and start, sorting it out and, and that kind of stuff. And, and you hear about like the talks of PTSD and everything now, and right now we're just listening to stuff, but when we start having to actually see it on, video to 911, then, where's the PTSD levels going to go at that point?
That's a very good point. And I'd like to add the fact that how would that actually interrupt us from actually doing our job? Because we're more of like the orchestrator, orchestrating the response. And yet now we're sitting there watching what's unfolding in front of us. How does that, help or get in the way of us multitasking to perform those tasks that we need to do, as part of our job. That's another aspect as far as, the video dispatching goes, or, that next generation now one. That's something that needs to be discussed throughout the industry. But another valid point as to why we should get that recognition and reclassification of the first responder status, because now we literally will be on scene when we